should have signed out of my JUCO, but
Yeah.
I was like,
It would have been better.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go to Virginia Tech and just keep raking. And I didn't. I got humbled. I was a mental mess, and I figured it out though. So,
Well, you learn.
yeah, I needed
Better
it.
that it happened then, and then instead of happening when you're 3 years in.
I needed it bad.
We ready? All right, we back now. Next athlete up is Kerry Carpenter from the Detroit Tigers organization. We're gonna, get into some, just give us your little history and stuff like that, and we'll talk GOTA later on or whatever, and GLS and all of that stuff. But start from the beginning, man. How you got into baseball?
I just grew up playing from Florida, so everybody plays.
Summer
Probably
year round.
Yeah.
So like Central Florida, grew up playing Little League. I was never the biggest, and that actually helped me. So I could I needed to learn how to hit instead of just relying on being a huge
Big,
12-year-old.
strong kid,
yeah.
So that was a blessing in disguise, really. And so, I learned how to hit and kept progressing every year. I was never the biggest, never the fastest. Didn't really get recruited much because I wasn't very good until my senior year of high school. And then at that point, everybody pretty much was done recruiting at the D1 level. So went to a couple workouts in JUCO in Florida. Ended up signing with one of them.
And what school was that?
St. John's River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
for
all
2 years.
Everything's on the beach in Florida, huh? No.
That was out in the middle of nowhere.
Was it?
We had to drive to St. Augustine to get food, to go to the beach.
Oh, no.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was awesome. I needed it. I wasn't ready for D1 out of high school anyway,
Yeah.
so.
That I see that a lot with the baseball because it's not it don't happen as much with the juke. It's almost like sometimes with the football side of it, it's more academic related or behavioral. But I see a lot of the baseball stuff. You could have a guy that's really good, but he might see at the plate, he may only see 80 to 85.
Exactly.
So he gets into JUCO and then he starts seeing what 90 looks like consistently, and it's a big adjustment.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Even the speed of the ball through the infield and the guys on the base paths and all. So it's like this big adjustment. Whereas like on the football side of it, sometimes it's more like, they're ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could see, and it's minor tweaks and adjustments. But
Yeah.
so you leave the JUCO and you go
To Virginia Tech for 1 year. I got drafted in the 19th round. Had an okay year, but got drafted in the 19th round. So
Gotcha. And what year
Signed.
was that?
2019.
19?
Yep, June of 2019.
So that was right before COVID, huh?
It was the year before. So
Yeah.
I played that season, off season, and then when we went back to spring training in 2020 was when we got sent home for COVID reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go home and then you kind of just on your own.
On my own. Yeah, literally. Just in
But
my
that wasn't
hometown.
when you found, you didn't find GOTA yet.
No.
Yeah. You found, so you get drafted, you go back, and then you're working out and you meet Jacob.
Yeah, so I went back. I found a place in Tampa to work out. Went back to spring training, and went to AA to start the year. Jacob Robson was there, and I noticed how amazing it looked like he moved, and so I just was like, tried to pick his brain.
Yeah.
And he mentioned you guys, and so I started doing research.
Just started researching, yeah.
And it just clicked. I was like, this makes sense.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
See, the athlete says this
The
makes sense.
athlete,
yeah.
Well, because they got nothing, there's no screen, there's no filter, there's no nepotism to hold up, there's no, well, I was taught this. It's just, how do I get better?
Exactly.
How do I get better? How do I hit better? How do I throw better? How do I run better? How do I take this pain out of my hip, out of my knee? So you put it in front of the athlete, more times than not, it's like, oh man, where's this been?
Yeah, because I
Where
never
was this?
felt great from regular lifts.
Yeah. Did you guys get
mainstream
heavy
stuff.
into the lifting at Virginia Tech in the JUCO?
Oh, yeah.
It was big time there?
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed that
Squats 3
push.
times a week, deadlifts. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you were in high school, was your baseball team still working off of that like football sort of mindset where they're deadlifting? So that was it had
Old
already
school.
worked. Yeah, it already worked
Yeah.
its way into your nervous system
yeah.
from high school.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I wasn't very athletic. So
It takes it away.
yeah,
You
it
see
didn't
that
really
now when
help.
you're watching
Yeah.
the tape, how that athleticism, right, GOTA, gets stripped from the athlete. That's the big thing I've noticed with baseball, that I feel like when I was growing up, our baseball players didn't go in the weight room. at the school I was at, Lake Catholic.
Yep.
They really weren't, like, lifting was kind of frowned upon. And I think there's been feels like a push towards more of a power derivative, Olympic derivative, and then you take that all the way to the pro level now. The MLB seems more wrecked than it's ever been.
Yeah, I don't know
with
why,
injuries.
but like it's being pushed pretty big time.
Yeah.
And if you don't like go in the weight room, it's kind of like you're.
Well, I
put
mean,
down a pile.
it's the
of
same
course.
thing across the board too. You know, they fall in love with the numbers, and you got some guys out there that's like huge. That, I mean, if you got to hit it 400, you got to hit it 400. 490 don't make it any better than 400. You know what I'm saying? But they're never gonna stop putting a plate on. It's just gonna keep going until you break the body down and they can't do it no more, or they find, you know, they get so much repetitive stress that you see a decline in their athleticism or even in their power. Even though they might be getting weight room stronger, they might. Jacob said it, right?
Yeah, he's
like, it just didn't translate to my game.
That's
Right.
exactly how I felt last offseason. Is
Yeah.
when I got after it,
Yeah,
quote
right.
unquote, for
Yeah.
8 months straight.
Yeah.
Didn't feel any faster, didn't feel any stronger.
So
That's how you know that the WODA training works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everything works, right? You know, WODA training works. Like some people will come in, I'll do an assessment, and I'll be like, you Olympic lifting? Yeah. I'm like, it's working.
Yeah.
You're 12 degrees in your front chain, inside ankle bone low. Like your body is accepting those shapes. And I think that they see that and they understand the correlation. And then it's easier for the athlete to see, oh, if I just go the other way with this, I get inside ankle bone, high back chain dominant. I get into better positions in the box. I get into better positions when I'm picking the ball up off the ground or catching it from the sky and having to, you know, whip and flip and get it to a base. All of that stuff that really speaks to the skill of baseball and what the scout looks at and what, you know, will let you rise in the ranks. All of that is being stripped from athletes like you, Jacob, and everybody else out there in these weight rooms, because as you guys were seeing through the education, you're quite literally going in reverse.
Yep.
Your body's fighting against its innate pattern.
So did you recode with a go-to coach, or you just went?
Yeah, I was with Colin.
Oh, Colin Burke.
nice.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
through
Colin does a
FaceTime.
good job.
Yeah, and he literally just like, it was pretty much stop the bleeding.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
stop
That's
it.
the beginning process.
Groundwork.
Start to educate, stop the bleeding, get them on the ground.
And I was hitting balls way harder at the end of the year
Yeah.
than the beginning. Of
And
the
then you was in Tampa, so you did a little work with Jake too.
year. Yeah, for the past couple weeks.
Good. Yeah.
He
So
prepared me for this week.
Your foot
Yeah.
control look, yeah, his foot control looked better. The
Yeah.
bows look better. And now it's just pulling all that front chain dominance out of the system and getting that corner suppleness to show again. But, you know, you said your first assessment, what'd you see in your first assessment?
Nothing good.
Yeah. Inside ankle bone low,
Yep.
no bow.
No, not a good bow and no corner.
Yeah.
and then when we reassessed you, you
The bow
seen
was
the change.
popping.
Yeah.
See, and it's just validation. You know, it's just like Rick said. The other stuff is pulling you one way. The input you've been giving your nervous system as of late is pulling you in a better direction, and it shows up on a video. That's why we pound out our go-to coaches with video. Look at the video. Get in the habit of, well, my hip's bothering me. Give me the film. Not, well, did you ice it?
Yeah.
Like the whole
Try
language.
this stretch. Like, hang on, let me see what's
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
first.
Let's
Let me
take a
see
look
the
at
video.
it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always out of the foot. But
Yeah.
so then you start working out inside of the go-to stuff. Naturally, you're feeling better because you wouldn't have came down here.
Yep.
And then you get here, and it's like a whole nother experience.
The
right?
intensity level.
Yeah.
Raised a little bit.
Yeah. And the whole concept for us is to get y'all in here. Education, see it over and over, pound it into your brain, give you the visual, and then take you out there and make you feel it and really find out where your back chains are. That you, even though you think you there, there's so much more to get, you know? And then the big knock on everything that we do is we get put in that almost like a therapy box, like a healing box, when it's like you felt the workouts the last 2
Yeah,
days.
it ain't easy. Yeah, I feel strong. I feel as strong as I've ever been.
Well, how do you feel after a workout though? It's like you don't have to be in pain.
No, I don't feel tight. I feel like I could go play.
Yeah.
It's therapy through performance training.
Yeah.
Like you can now not have to have what you feel like was a recovery segment, right? So everything gets put in boxes for you guys and for the athlete, where you have your strength training, then you have the recovery. And the only reason the recovery is really needed for a lot of people is because the strength training is putting them there. Whereas now with GOTA, your recovery work or your sort of decompression work, your therapy work is the same math as your performance work. So you just turn the dial up, but you're still getting the therapy because you're still paying homage. Like Gary says, he's out there, honor the foot, honor the ankle, honor the back chain, right? Don't lose that. The same stuff that was in the therapy of the groundwork is still in the most intense moment of the training. And that's why the athlete just keeps stacking those days. They keep stacking those reps. And this is what I always say, like, no one's going to be able to tell you nothing. Because now you've seen it, you've felt it. And even though, I don't know if you guys have you had kind of pushback from coaches or friends or players, or has it kind of just been like, whatever?
Yeah, they kind of just like make fun of you a little bit.
Yeah, poke fun at it.
And a friend of mine would come to the field every day saying like, oh, I know what's wrong with GOTA.
Yeah.
I was like, you're probably wrong.
You're probably wrong.
Yeah, but like people see like,
oh, they're going to get to see by your behavior. By how you act and the things you do and your performance, you know, because we like to look at performance as behavior.
And I got to, like, I was available for every single game this year.
Yep, that's the biggest thing. It's to that point you said about, you know, someone saying, I know what's wrong with GOTA, and this is really the big issue, is that what you've said or what that person said is that I didn't look at it. You know, that you didn't objectively look at the information being presented. And I think that athletes maybe are afraid. You know, we as athletes have a confidence thing that we need, and it sucks to sit there and admit that what you did when you were working hard was at the same time you were working dumb. You know, you weren't doing smart work. Now we can show a guy like a Kerry and a guy like a Jacob, hey, you can work just as hard with that same intensity because you need to, but now you can be smart about it. Now it can be educated. Now I know why I don't pull weight from the ground. Now I know why I don't do lifts outside the column. Now I know why that Olympic lift is detrimental to my swing, to my throw. And the more that we can weaponize the athlete, not only physically to the GOTA attributes, but mentally from a coach's perspective, right? And Jacob said a really cool thing a second ago about you got to be your own coach. Like, you know, guys like Kerry and Jacob, they got to go back and you got to wheel and deal with a weekly schedule, you know, and you got to be able to have some sort of education, have some sort of awareness of not just the 10% of how your training looks or how your skill set looks, but the things we've been talking about, the 90%, the walk, you know, the resting patterns, the choices I make when I sit and when I'm standing, you know, waiting to go, and all that stuff just kind of, like I like to say, it weaponizes the athlete from many different fronts, and then no matter what they throw at you, you can just kind of chuckle because you know you got that magic sauce, that voodoo down in Marrero.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of like, so if you break it down and you look at it like if it was a race, it's like the level of intensity goes up every level you go to, right? So you kind of playing travel ball and you're doing all of this stuff, and it's like just kind of playing with your friends. And then you get into this whole high school thing, and it's like, okay, I got to run a 5K every day now. And then it's like I get to college, well, now I got to run a marathon. And then you get to the pros, and it's like my body needs to be prepared to run an ultra marathon. And the problem is for some people, is they're getting to that point at the highest level, and their talent took them there, and their body can't keep them there no more. But you done got there, now your body's fit and ready to go, and it's like, whatever the opportunity is going to be, you don't have to, you could take the injury bug out of the conversation.
Just let the talent
Just let your
itself.
Genetic potential and your talent go and do its thing.
Exactly.
And you don't have nothing holding you back. So
the cool piece is you can use your experience to work for you. I think so people they stack that experience, which you can't replace. Can't replace going through high school, going through college, facing adversity, all the things you learn about yourself and about the game. And then you get all these things, and now you know the X's and O's of baseball, but the body won't hold up to let the brain even take advantage of what you've learned. So now you can give people their longevity back, and they can all those reps they stacked on understanding the X's and O's of baseball you can let it shine with a healthy body that's available for a full season.
Yeah. Well, man, anything you would tell anybody that's on the fence?
I would say don't try to just incorporate GOTA into what you're already doing.
Yeah.
go all in because it's worth it, and I believe it's the truth.
Yeah.
How you should move, how everybody at the highest level moves. I don't regret it one bit.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate
appreciate
you
you,
coming
man.
out and giving us your time.
I appreciate you guys for having us here.
No doubt. We're gonna do it
fun.
again.
Yeah,
in
we're gonna do it
January.
again.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah, cool. All right, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kerry.
All right.
Yeah. No, that was awesome.